Alright, hi everybody.
Hi, Dr. Nick.
Got a great video for you today, at least talking about the things I love about this 2021 KTM 690 SMC R. I don't love the name, I think it's way too long, but it's a badass bike. Anyway, I'm not going to number these things off because, quite frankly, I think I'll lose track, and there's most likely going to be a lot because there are a lot of things to love about this motorcycle. I don't love sitting in traffic though. Whee! So we're gonna have some fun. There are no police. Oh yeah. I guess that leads me into the first thing I love about this bike is just the outright power that it has for a supermoto. And I think with a few slight modifications, the power delivery is impeccable. When I first got the bike, I noticed that it seemed to be a little bit flat in the middle. A little kind of, you know, yippy at the bottom. Then it just tailored off and went nowhere. And when you were finally up at the top of the RPM range, you started picking up. But with the use of a power commander fuel dongle, I don't think they exhausted anything but make it sound cool. It really kind of came to its own, and you've seen that power delivery throughout the entire curve, and I think it's just made it a much smoother bike. You know, that when you do the Ducati Spacers throttle spacers for this bike, oh, best $36 you'll ever gonna spend. I highly suggest that if you're going to do it. But power's great. I mean, for a supermoto, one, it's the most powerful supermoto you can buy, truthfully. And well, anyway, as I was saying, for a supermoto with this much power, woo, that looks like a police officer to me. I'm gonna hide by this Jeep as he's just sitting there. I'm not going fast, sir. No, thank you. But, you know, outside of that weird clutch flick, everything's right there. And for this supermoto platform to have this much power just makes it so much fun. Which leads me into the next thing that I love about this bike is it's just so much fun. I mean, you're upright, there's plenty of power, you can even ride on the highway if you wanted to. Getting around town, oh, so much fun. City riding, amazing. It's just light, flickable. You can put this thing kind of wherever you want to, even on dirt roads, and have so much fun with it. You know, you don't need a ton of power. You don't need the fastest sport bike. You don't even need an off-road bike, you know, to do a lot of the things you can on this. It's the ultimate Swiss Army knife. I was able to take it to the track, and, you know, for the first time riding a motorcycle on the track, this thing gave me so much confidence just because it was easy to ride. There's plenty of power to keep up with a lot of the 600s. Yeah, again, novice group, but turns gave me so much confidence. Everything is set up so nice. There's so much grip. You know, even the ABS and traction control work extremely well in those situations to help assist you through some of those curves on that lean angle. I mean, it just made it a dream. I couldn't imagine going to the track for the first time on, you know, an R6 or, you know, some other, you know, 700, you know, naked bike. I feel like I'd be a little bit too scared, but with this, you know, it's manageable, but it's fun. You know, another thing that I love about this bike is the maintenance. I mean, you guys have been watching me do a lot of the maintenance on this bike myself, and I don't know what I'm doing, quite frankly. You know, so it makes it super easy. Being it's a KTM and they're expensive, you know, and they require a little bit different set of tools. Now you're looking at metrics, you're looking at a lot of torque spits. You can't really get away with working on this with your regular American set, but everything is available. Everything, you know, there's plenty of videos on YouTube to work on this thing, and honestly, you know, it's at the point where I feel like it can tackle most things. If we're coming into the motor, if we're doing valves or anything, I'll stay away from that. But just that factor is so cool. I love that. You know, it kind of leads me into, you know, one of another things that I love about the bike. I mean, the brakes. holy smokes, you got Brembos up front and Brembos in the rear, and good lord, do they stop you quick. I mean, I burnt through, you know, what I thought to be a lot of pad and a lot of fluid on the track day, but they held strong the entire way through. Even at the end of the day, when I was starting to get into the 30-second, you know, lap times at Blackhawk, I mean, they were holding it strong, and they helped me in a few of those situations too. It's also important to have these kind of brakes on the street, because I think there's more value in that if you need to stop in a tight situation or get caught up in something you don't want to be a part of. You know, this bike will slow you down nice and easy. And I just wish I could get around some of this traffic, because this isn't fun just sitting here like this. I guess that brings me to another point that I really love about this bike, is that it's a great little commuter. It's great to go to the shops with. It's great, you know, to kind of go see some friends. It's awesome on these, you know, just free rides where I'm just out here. I'm riding wherever I choose. It doesn't matter to me. I'm picking places and just checking them out, and it's so much fun for that. You've got plenty of ground clearance, so if you need to hop some curbs, you need to go on some sidewalks, you need to get into a little bit sketchy of areas, you can get there. And at the same time, there's enough power to pick you up and get you moving a lot of busier streets. And since it's so flickable and you got such good brakes, it makes for an overall just fun experience. So light commuting is really good. I would stay away from any, you know, heavy commuting, longer rides. I don't think I'd go anything over 2-3 hours, because this thing is not the most comfortable bike in the world, but you know, it can get there. It'll do it. It'll have fun with it. You know, just like that situation. Like, you can get up and out of the way and no problem. Which brings me to yet another point that I love about this bike, is it looks fucking awesome. I mean, just look at the thing. It is so cool. Even without all the graphics and all the other shit that I did to it, like, I think just as a factory bike, I think it looks great. Really good lines, good colors. I think KTM did a really good job with that. You know, the one caveat to that is the exhaust. Obviously, I cut mine off. It was massive. It was this giant silver coffee can on the back of this thing that weighed 100 pounds, which I didn't think was too visually appealing, and thought KTM could have done something a little bit better with that. But when you look at it as a whole, I think it just looks slender, looks mean. And when you add some graphics kit on it, when you add a few bling bits, when you do some of the work that I've done, it just makes it absolutely cherry. It's too good. And now we're stuck in even more traffic. I don't want to go over there because I don't want to be too much of a dick. I don't want to weave in and out. So then another thing that I love about this bike, man, I'm just coming up with a bunch. So I put down 5. I've got a ton that are just coming to my head. I think, you know, this one's kind of a mix, right? I love it because of the availability of aftermarket parts. You know, some people have kind of complained that there's not a lot out there for them. You know, I can see that too. A lot of it's overseas, so you're gonna have to wait for a lot of that shipping. But you can also get things to work on this bike a lot easier than you could a lot of other street bikes. You know, take for example these handguards. I mean, from Amazon, like, these mirrors are meant for an enduro bike, like a 450 500, that you can get to work on these grips, you know, or handlebars. You know, you can find, like, the exhaust. Again, I did a whole install video on how to put an FMF 4.1 on it. It's not meant for it. You know, you're not supposed to from the factory, but you can. You know, even somebody like me can do it. And I think that, you know, availability is really cool, especially when you have the support from manufacturers like Rottweiler Performance. I mean, those guys have anything and everything you need for these bikes, outside of the bling and the graphics and the other kind of fun things like that. But anything core, tuners, cold air intakes, fuel, dongles, SAS delete kits, I mean, they've come up with it all, and it's really cool to see all that in-house in one company. So you're not buying 16 different things from 16 different people. So I like that factor of it. You know, and I think, again, even though it's limited availability with a lot of these accessories, at the same time, I don't think I'd want too many choices, right? I'd want to pick the colors, I want to pick some other things, but you know, I wouldn't want too much because then I'd get confused and I wouldn't know, you know, which to go with here or there or yada yada. So I think it's a really good area to kind of stick your own lane into it. Let's see. Oh, another huge point that I love about this bike is just the sound. I mean, I think it sounds awesome with this FMF. Like, how can you complain about that? Oh, it sounds so good. It sounds such like a dirt bike. It just, oh, it makes me so happy every time I ride it just to hear this thing. Oh, it's too good. Like, oh, just that segment right there makes me so happy. And someone do a stick figure family on that car. So I guess all in all, that was a pretty big list of things that I love about this 2021 KTM 690 SMC R. And I'm sure I missed things, and I'm sure there's things that I'll think of as soon as I get home, or I know there's going to be more. But if you guys that have 690s or even don't have 690s, let me know in the comments below what you love about these bikes. Now, I've got another video coming that's going to be what I don't like about it. And I think there's some pretty obvious and unanimous things with everybody. But I want to hear from you guys on what you love about these bikes. It may be the looks, it may be the sound, it may even be the community that's built around these bikes, which I think is really cool. I've met a ton of great people just posting on YouTube that have these bikes that are from the United States, even from Germany, from Canada, from France, from there's another guy in the tropical islands somewhere that I was like, oh, this is so cool to meet everybody who have 690s and to be a part of this community. So let me know in the comments below, and I'll say it for the third time to do that, what you love about these bikes. And with that, remember, keep riding.